Quitting alcohol, if it's become a toxic trait in your life, is one of the most important and life-changing things that you can do for yourself and your future. There are many health and wealth benefits associated with doing it, but you have to be careful because quitting alcohol won't solve all your problems. And when I say careful, what I really mean is having realistic expectations about what a sober lifestyle will look like, and especially in the early part of your sober journey. For those of you that don't already know me, my name is Jody and I'm 3 years alcohol free after a 25-year unhealthy relationship with alcohol. I set this YouTube channel up as a resource to talk about all the benefits associated with eradicating toxic traits from your life. I made a lot of changes over the last 3 years to my life and my lifestyle, and I'm using this channel to share some of my experiences and thoughts about how I've gone about making some of those changes. I also use this channel as a way of keeping accountable and tracking all of the progress that I'm making from a healthy living, a running perspective, and of course my sober journey is as part of that accountability that I'm using this channel for. So if that's something that you think is of interest and you would like to continue to be part of that journey, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and let's get back into the topic for the video. So in my last YouTube video, somewhat ironically, I talked about why I think YouTube is not a particularly good resource for somebody that is considering changing their relationship with alcohol, and particularly the videos that talk about what life will look like after you've quit drinking. They talk a lot about the benefits, and don't get me wrong, there's an enormous amount of benefits associated with quitting drinking, and my life is unrecognisably different compared to what it was 3 years ago. You cannot deny the health, the financial, and just generally everything is better when you give up drinking. But if you listen to some of the videos that are on YouTube in terms of the changes that are going to happen, they paint a picture that these changes are going to happen almost overnight, and they make it sound like you're going to almost live in this perfect painting world where everything is going to be amazing. So it's important to understand that you have to be realistic and things take time. And when it comes to somebody quitting drinking, you have to think about problems in two ways. You've got problems that exist because of drinking and alcohol, and then you've got problems that exist because life's a bitch. So by quitting drinking, obviously you're going to impact, number one, the problems that exist due to drinking. But you have to break that down a little bit further, because there are going to be problems that are easily impacted, and there's going to be other problems that take a little bit longer to impact. And what I mean by that is, if you're the kind of person that drinks too much and goes out and fights with people, then of course not drinking and taking away that enabler, which is the alcohol, is going to stop you fighting. You know, if you're the kind of person that decides getting behind the wheel of a car is a good idea while drinking or under the influence, and you know you have a history of getting stopped by the police and all of the problems that are going to exist because of that happening, then by taking away the alcohol, you know, that's not going to happen anymore. So those things are going to be quickly impacted, but there's other things that may take a little bit longer. You may have some health issues associated with a long history of drinking. You know, your sleeping pattern is probably going to take a little while to sort itself out if you've been somebody that has suffered from, you know, poor sleeping patterns as a result of alcohol. So there's many things that may take a little bit longer, and again, you know, it's having that realistic outlook on things, that good things take time. And you know, quitting alcohol, it may take a while for some of the things and some of the changes to happen associated with quitting alcohol and problems that are a result of alcohol, but it's worth it. You have to stick with it, because over time, things like your sleeping pattern, things like, you know, any challenges you've got with skin conditions, challenges you've got with motivation, for example, challenges you've got with, you know, just generally your mood, all of those things are going to come, but they will take time to fix themselves. So be patient on that one. Then we've got two, the life's a bitch problems. You know, you're always going to encounter, whether you drink or not, you're always going to encounter life's a bitch problems. So you're always going to have, you know, things like you're going to lose your job. You're going to have things like, you know, you split up with your partner. You know, maybe your partner wants to divorce you or whatever. Maybe, you know, you have financial challenges. Maybe it's hard to pay the bills. Maybe you have something unexpected happen to the car. I don't know what, you know, everybody has their own challenges. You know, maybe even very serious problems. You may get an illness that you didn't know that you had or that you weren't expecting. It could even be that you've got a bereavement to somebody that you know, a close loved one. Life is going to happen. And if you expect that life is going to be easy after you drink, then, that's not the reality. That is not the picture that people should think about when they quit drinking. What you should focus on is that your ability to handle situations becomes a lot better if you don't have alcohol in your life. So it's important to remember that life is not going to be easy just because you don't drink alcohol anymore. But your ability to deal with things is going to change significantly. And by eradicating things like the brain fog associated with drinking, the anxiety associated with drinking, the lack of confidence, the lack of self-respect, the lack of energy, the lacking of motivation, all of those things are really, restrictors when it comes to a person's ability to deal with challenges, because it can become very easy when you are somebody that is dependent on alcohol and all of the long-term effects of alcohol will have on somebody and the way that they think about situations. One of the things that I found really, really interesting as part of my research around alcohol and part of my journey is by quitting drinking, you are shifting your mindset from somebody who is very much motivated by short-term dopamine hits to somebody that has a much more long-term gratification mindset. And by having a long-term gratification mindset, what that does is it focuses you on the long-term benefits associated with an action. So, dealing with a problem or a challenge, it's the same problem, it's the same challenge, but your ability to view it in a more positive and realistic way will change. So, I'll give you an example from my life, right? Recently I have been going through a personal situation that has been particularly challenging, and my ability to deal with that challenge has meant that the result to come out of it has been much more positive. Now, if you'd have put me 5, 6, 7 years back and had presented the current challenge that I've got in my life, or the challenge that I've recently had, then I can tell you that if I was fueled by alcohol and some of these problems existed and my mindset was more focused on that short-term dopamine hit or fix or reaction, then there's absolutely no way that I'd be in the position I am now, because I would have just said, F you to the situation and just thrown my toys out the pram. And, that particular challenge that I had would have not had a happy ending, or at least a positive ending. It would have ended in fireworks, and it would have ended badly for everyone involved. So it comes down to, an expectation that, life is still hard, life is still going to have its challenges, and life is still going to have the ups and the downs that everybody has in life. So don't go into a sober journey or an expectation that, that the things that you hear a lot on YouTube about how life's great and this has happened and that's happened and all of a sudden I've been manifesting this and it's all of a sudden happened. Because what will happen is that you'll set yourself up for a fall that hurts and ends up, in a result of you hitting the bottle again and thinking that, what's the point of changing because everything's the same. Stick with it, because as I said, things, especially important things and especially things that are worth doing, take time. So, be realistic, but understand that, you will have to be realistic, and you will have to be prepared for when the going gets tough. But I can tell you that, once you've got alcohol out your life and, you've been through, periods of challenge, because giving up alcohol is hard, especially if you've been doing it for a long time. And you will have a period where you probably feel a little bit weird at first. You'll probably have a few days where it feels horrible. It will take a while for your sleeping pattern to go back to normal. You'll have to go through a lot of the social challenges that you're probably thinking about around, going out and, what people are going to think of me and what my friends are going to think of me. But, persistence around something that is worthwhile and I can promise you that giving up drinking is very much worthwhile. It's one of the most incredible things that you can do for yourself. But be realistic about what life might look like, because you will still have to deal with the same problems that everyone else has to do, but you'll be much better equipped to deal with those problems and much better equipped to understand the magnitude of them, because, problems that exist and then you've got the alcohol on top of those problems will mean that you always perceive those problems as, life shit and everything is against me and, what's the point? Take alcohol out of that equation, and what you'll start doing is going, right, there's a problem. For example, I've lost my job, or there's a problem associated with something, and you'll think about the course of actions that you need to take to correct it, rather than the fallback option of life shit, so what's the point? So I just wanted to add to the video that I did last week around quitting alcohol, because I think that I talked a little bit about why I think it's not helpful to just focus on the end game here, in terms of, everything looking great. And, I said at the end of my video last time that quitting alcohol it does feel like a superpower, because, when you're, slightly longer term into your sobriety journey, and, you find that there is this roller coaster of positive change in your life, then everything does become better. But you still have to deal with life. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions or thoughts, or if there's anything that you think I missed, just drop them in the comments. I always appreciate a like on the video. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm, but I'm not ever going to be somebody that begs people to do it. But if you've found this useful or it's hit any chords in any way, please hit the like. And as I said earlier, if you've not subscribed to the channel and you want to continue to be part of this journey and to hear more about some of the things that I've encountered or changed in the last 3 years, then hit the subscribe button. Anyway, have a good day and see you on the next video.